The entire reason the government is not open right now is because Democrats refuse to be complicit in having millions of Americans, including 100,000 in Kentucky, your home state, if I'm remembering correctly, Scott, that rely on ACA, that would see their premiums rise several
which you can deal with separately. It doesn't have to be, those two things do not go together.
But the way that they're doing this right now, they're combining both.
Voting to support the budget still doesn't, if you keeping it closed doesn't fix the ACA. The ACA needs to be reformed. Healthcare needs to be reformed. This is a way bigger question.
You guys failed at that last time. The whole thing was repeal and replace. You had a trifecta. You tried this. You failed.
That's not true. They're still in the concept of a plan stage.
No, in terms of
they've been in the concept stage since 2000.
But David, you would admit that the ACA was a Democrat legislation, yes? And you would admit that the subsidies that we're talking about now were passed by Democrats, yes. And you would admit that the sunset provision in the subsidies, which comes up at the end of the year, was in place because of Democrats, yes. Now you want to make it a Republican problem. These are not the same issues. You could open the government today, and then you could negotiate with with Republicans about ACA. And by the way, my suspicion is, and you know this, there are probably, and I know there are some House Republicans that would love to negotiate on it, but under duress, under a hostage-taking situation, connecting disconnected issues, and now you're throwing SNAP onto it, you're throwing all the federal workers who aren't being paid onto it, all because of this fight that you wandered into because of your wing of the Democratic Party. You all led to this SNAP crisis. You all led to this crisis of the government being closed, and you don't know how to get out of it.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It's your brother Wise, and we got to check out our guy, Scott Jennings. It's been a while since he's been featured on the channel, but once again, Scott doing what he does best, showcasing how foolish and ignorant a lot of these Democrats are. Hit that like button, share this video, subscribe to the channel. As you can see there, this dude couldn't refute anything that the brother Scott Jennings said. Not a thing. Hopefully Scott Jennings takes that CBS money and maybe he'll get his own show. He can bring his own people on because he's playing well below his pay grade dealing with these imbeciles. Just being honest. Let's keep going.
And look, I voted against the CR because the CR wasn't going to take care of people's health insurance. Healthcare was going to go up. I didn't vote for that CR. Scott might remember Republicans didn't vote for the CR previously, the same CR in different years. In fact, Republicans removed a Speaker of the House. We forget about that because he put a CR on the floor. So,
but you did vote against the SNAP benefits, then you admit
I did not vote against the SNAP.
If you had voted for the CR, would we have SNAP right now?
Scott,
Scott,
what I voted for was a CR that was going to see people in Florida have their health insurance go up almost 100%.
No,
I got
these are separate issues.
No, I got 25,000 people in my district that are going to lose their health insurance.
Why won't they be truthful with people and tell folks that the ACA subsidies and what's going on within the CR, they're two separate issues. Two separate issues. They are combining the Medicaid cuts, basically, which are cuts to illegal immigrant receiving Medicaid, and the ACA subsidies, which end at the end of the year. They're combining the two, but they're two separate issues.
Because this CR didn't
and how many
have
do you have going to lose their SNAP?
Okay. Well, first of all, let's talk about SNAP for a second. Why did the Republicans send $40 billion to Argentina? Where is that money, Scott? Why didn't that go to Americans? Why? That's America first.
It's a credit
that's
swap.
America.
He's being very dishonest. Very dishonest, but that's what the Democrats do. They lie to their people. They give them a bunch of information. None of it, for the most part, is true, or it's a bunch of half-truths, and everybody knows that half-truths are whole lies. That's what the Democrats do. They try to confuse the people, keep folks low IQ so they don't know anything, and they don't even know the proper questions to ask.
Profit on
That's
that.
America first. We're sending money to Argentina rather than taking care of people's
swap.
SNAP benefits. I would have loved to have been at Mar-a-Lago while the girls were in the martini glasses when they were trying to figure out what to do with the judge's order. You know, half the room was probably like, should we pay it? Should we not pay it? And then someone was like, oh, I have a great idea. Let the subjects only get half their rations. I mean, they're only going to give half the SNAP benefits to these people.
How many have the Democrats voted to give?
Scott, look at the polling.
Democrats have repeatedly voted to give zero of SNAP benefits. I'm sorry, this is not, this whole thing could have been averted if Democrats had done what they did in March, which is vote for Joe Biden's budget levels. They have refused to do it. A couple of Democrats in the Senate, like John Fetterman, have shown some courage and backbone. But the bottom line is this party is in thrall to the radical left. That's why they've changed their position from March until now. And that's why people are not getting their SNAP benefits. It's why federal law enforcement isn't being paid. It's why Trump's having to scramble to pay the military. This is a Democratic shutdown because of political fear.
That's absolutely right. This shutdown is at the feet of the Democrats. But let's check out Senator Fetterman real fast.
Well, why won't Schumer do it? I mean, you voted to open the government.
Well, I mean, I really kind of led the charge back in March about, keeping our government open. And I thought I might be the only Democrat. And there was enough people back in March. And I said, I'm going to be right there in September when this comes back. And if I'm the only Democrat, I'll still be there because it's wrong to shut our government down.
Does Schumer hate you for this?
No, of course he doesn't. He doesn't hate me. We might disagree with it right now. And where I'm here tonight to have a conversation because I'm going to have a conversation with the other side. And that's where I'm at. And I'm going to show up and talk to anyone that invites me to be here because we really need each other. And I want to have, and one other thing I refuse to do as a Democrat, I'm not going to call you a fascist or a Nazi. I'm not going to compare anyone to Hitler or anything. That's wrong. And if you resort to that thing, you've lost the plot. It's like, because if you call him a fascist, then you have to think, well, maybe the people that vote for him, and I know people that love for him, is a fascist. That's just not true. And I know people that voted for the other side, and they're not trying to destroy our Constitution.
And shout out to Fetterman for, standing on his square and, being a real individual, because, you got a bunch of fake people out there that, they make all these claims, they say all these things that are not true. But the people that listen to them, they take it for the truth, but they on purpose are misleading people, just like these individuals I'm about to showcase to you.
Right now that there is a debate about funding the government. I've been a little bit confused because Republicans, last time I checked, are in control of the House of Representatives.
You ain't
They're
confused.
in control of the Senate, and then the president signs the bill. Okay, but I've heard people suggest that Democrats somehow have the ability to shut the government down. So can you please educate the people on what's happening?
No, you are not confused.
Okay, all right.
You are a
Thank you.
lawmaker. You understand how this works. And, Republicans don't know how to count. But here's the thing. When you're in a legislative body, you control everything. So if the government shuts down, it's on y'all.
This lady is a liar. Everybody knows, okay, the House has a majority. They can get a bill done. In the House, what she's saying is actually true. But when it gets to the Senate, everybody knows you need 2/3 of a vote. You need 60 votes. Everybody knows this, but this is the game that they play. This is the game they play, and this is why people like this shouldn't continue to be in office anymore.
It's on Republicans to figure this out. They control the House, the Senate, and the White House.
No, but let me.
And so I'm not going to sit here
But you're in the House,
Yeah.
but in the Senate, there's a 60-vote threshold. The president is calling for that, the nuclear option, to get rid of that. And I hear you're saying Republicans are making a choice. Democrats are also making a choice.
Yeah, and I'm glad that CNN is pushing back a little bit. They're supposed to be journalists. I'm glad that they push back. Now, Congressman McBride here, again, another one of these representatives that throw out there, well, hey, the Republicans, they got the House, the Senate, the White House, the Supreme Court. They can just do whatever they want, but it's not true. It's not true. And you look at the face of this individual, you can tell when the pushback comes, like, wait, hold up a second, man. You need 2/3 of the vote in the Senate in order to get anything accomplished. And that's the thing. Mainstream media, I'm glad that this is happening in CNN, but these representatives, they are not truthful individuals. Why not just keep it a buck and say, hey, you need 60 votes? Why not just keep it real? But that's why we have to continue to talk about this stuff on our side of things. I know Fox News is doing an excellent job just keeping people aware and abreast, but there's a lot of people that just don't have cable and they don't watch mainstream media. So they lean on, platforms like myself and Tatum and Greg and so many others out there, ABL and so many others out there to make sure that they're sharing information that is truthful and factual, because they depend on people being low IQ. They depend on people not knowing the truth. I think civics needs to come back to school. People need to have a full understanding, of civics, and you might need a refresher course 10 years after you graduate high school, to be honest with you, just so people know what their rights are, what the differences are between the branches of government, the power that the branches of government have, to include the White House. How much power do they actually have? People need to really know so they're not led astray, not lied to, or misinformed by people like Congressman McBride or, Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. I'm just saying. But I want to show y'all something here, because it's people like this that I'm about to show. They're the real issues in this country.
I think what's really important and standing out for me right now is if we can take ourselves like a high level Like, not say immigration, not say economy, not say all the hot talking points, and just ask ourselves, how are we treating our neighbors? Like, how are we treating one another? And is it okay that yesterday, on Saturday, 42 million of our neighbors no longer can feed themselves? Is it okay that our neighbors are getting taken off the streets by ICE? Is it okay that gender-affirming care is being taken from young people who really need it to survive? Is it okay that the Supreme Court has now justified racial profiling? That's not how I want to treat my neighbor.
These towels are the worst individuals in the country. I got to throw out there, you know what? We can't just say towels. We got to say all liberals. But these are the worst people. Look at what she's talking about. Gender-affirming care for children. That's what matters. Really? Really? I understand where she's coming with the SNAP benefits, but removing illegal immigrants that shouldn't be in our country, that's a problem for you, ma'am? Really? I bet they don't live next to her. I bet they don't live in her neighborhood. These people are ridiculous. This is what I'm talking about. These people right here. These are some of the most wicked individuals in the country, man.
The controllers got 90% of one payment, 80 to 90% of one payment. They missed the second paycheck. On Thursday, they get an email pay stub that'll show what their next payment is going to be. So this Thursday, they'll get an email that shows that their pay stub is a big fat zero. Many of the controllers said, a lot of us can navigate missing one paycheck. Not everybody, but a lot of us can. None of us can manage missing two paychecks. So if you bring us to a week from today, Democrats, you will see mass chaos, you will see mass flight delays, you'll see mass cancellations, and you may see us close certain parts of the airspace because we just cannot manage it because we don't have the air traffic controllers.
Wow, this is where we are. This is where we are right now, to where the holiday season is upon us. People are going to be traveling. The travel uptick is there, basically. And I'm at a point now where I'm like, yo, I might have to, sit this one out, man. Sit my butt right here at the house. I was planning to go to Georgia, but I don't think that's going to happen if things continue. I just refuse to be stuck at some airport, for hours on end because we can't get out because the air traffic controllers aren't getting paid. And they decided that, hey, they're not going to work. This is crazy. And things are bad. When Charlamagne the Fraud is calling out the Democrat Party, it's bad when that happened.
Democrats, you fought. It seemed like you lost the fight. At this point, go and give it up. At least give the people some relief by getting the government back open.
Yeah, he is appealing to Democrats by citing issues like SNAP benefits and holiday travel. This is now the longest shutdown in U.S. history.
There we have it. It's bad when Charlamagne the Fraud and those on the Breakfast Club are saying, hey, man, y'all got to stop this foolishness. Go ahead and get these votes on, open this government up, and let's get business. Let's get things going, and let's just get things happening business as usual. You want to negotiate about these other things, the ACA subsidies, which I would assume are going to pass. I do think that there needs to be some full changes, a complete overall of the Affordable Care Act, which isn't so affordable. It needs to be, honestly, I think it needs to be torn down. They need to rewrite something that makes sense for the American people. This healthcare situation is awful. Premiums are high. The deductibles are through the roof. For those of us that have to pay for it, it's basically like you don't have insurance until you've paid $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $10,000 in some cases, because that's how high the deductibles are in this day. I just saw a policy that had a $10,000 deductible, meaning you're going to pay $1,000 a year and you're going to pay another $10,000 on top of that before insurance companies pay $1. It makes absolutely no sense. Absolutely no sense. Scott Jennings, John Fetterman, and the crew, I appreciate what they're doing out there. One, keeping the people informed. John Fetterman going anywhere and everywhere that will listen to this man. And he is putting it out there like, hey, it's not me. I've already crossed the aisle. There's a few others. I think there's one independent that has crossed the aisle. There's another independent that's, although they call themselves an independent, they're technically really just a Democrat, in a cloak of calling themselves an independent. That seems like that's a pretty popular thing these days. People are like, I'm not a Democrat, I'm independent, but they continue to support, and they have all the Democrat talking points. It's really ridiculous. But I want to hear from you guys in the comment section. What are your thoughts? Hit that like button, share this video, subscribe to the channel. Let me know if this was a W or an L. We're trying to get better here. We are. We're working on it. Let me know. Join us tomorrow, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for ARP in the morning. Hey, if you'd like to support the channel, buy your brother a coffee, Join the ARP family. I appreciate the love and support. I appreciate everybody that supports what we're doing over here. And as always, keep God first. Stay prayed up. We'll catch up with you all next time. Peace.
We won't stop. I won't quit. Stand for the truth. No counterfeit. Real ones rise. Let the fake ones split. Repent for the lies. Let the